Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So let's go ahead and get started. This one seems to have a lot of letters in it. I immediately am seeing, it looks like it's L-E-M. L-E-M. And then maybe T-O, a T and an O. Does that mean anything to you? Limpto? I don't know. L-E-M-T-O. Does that spell anything? If you mix it up, I'm not going to do it right now because, well, I'm not good with letters like that. I have to really look at them and move them around on the page. So if you can think of anything, put it in the comments. I'm so happy to be here with you. We have the energy also of the number 78, so 78. We also have 21. Over here, number 21. Now, we have, it looks like the face of somebody, and I'm just going to bring this in real close so we can see. We have the eyes, we have the nose, we have the mouth, we have the letter E as part of the head over here, almost kind of like somebody doing like a ooh face, like, ooh, that looks bad. Like somebody like, I don't know, slipped or something. Or the other energy I'm really getting from it is a sense of, well, it feels sassy, sarcastic. That's what I'm going to derive from this face, is that we have somebody who's not necessarily rude, but funny, kind of sarcastic, maybe kind of not always very serious about things. It feels like it's a masculine energy. And maybe somebody who's like a little younger. Okay. I almost wonder if this is like one of your kids or your nephews or nieces, grandkids, somebody younger in your life. Okay. Now they come up in this really kind of central area, and I just want to kind of look. Okay, so as we turn it this way, we have the rooster. You can see the head, you can see the body. We have the tail feathers right there. The rooster is an alarm. Okay, the rooster is kind of this like, all right, time to pay attention. Cock-a-doodle-doo, everybody, kind of rise from the slumber that you maybe have been in. Okay, or maybe you're just distracted with things. You're busy with work. You're whatever it is. Okay. We have now, okay, so we have that face here. We have a kind of, silly kid, maybe a little bit naughty, a little bit mouthy, I guess you would say. And we turn this. Now we have the rooster, and we have what looks to me like, and we have the eye, we have a nose, we have kind of a sad face. It kind of shifts into this, like on the verge of crying kind of energy. Now I look at that and I wonder, I say, is this a feeling of guilt? No, it doesn't feel like a guilty thing. It doesn't feel like a shame thing, like I got embarrassed or something like that. I feel like this is a sense of unknowing, right? A sense of things are changing, right? Maybe going through a rite of passage, maybe they like graduated last year and they're kind of, the wheels are spinning, they're getting nowhere kind of feeling. maybe having a hard time finding their place in the world, having some kind of direction, or And listen, the way things are right now, I guess we all kind of feel this way. Can you imagine? Now I'm an older person. I'm, around the 40s. And I wonder what it's like for these younger people. Now, we always kind of lament, right? As we get older, we look at the younger generation. We say, my goodness, they're inheriting a world that is chaos, a mess. They said this about handing over some of the stuff to us millennials. The world is already ruined, all this kind of thing. And now, as I'm getting older, I'm thinking, well, in some years, it's going to be, my daughter, my kids, the children of my life who are going to be inheriting the world from us. And, and there's so much uncertainty around that. So I wonder what, it must be difficult for the psyche of these kids. At the same time, I remember being young and thinking, oh, these old people, they're always worried about everything. And, it seemed much more hopeful for me when I was young. I don't know if it's like that. I can't tell. Honestly, I can't tell. I know that these kids are smart. I know they're creative. But I also know that they're a very feeling generation or generations. And I can only imagine how difficult that must be, facing everything that they are. So, I don't think this has gone unnoticed by you. But I think that this is kind of the universe, kind of coming in here and saying you might need to check up a little bit more. You might need to spend a little bit more time, intentional time, uninterrupted time, right? Now, we hear this a lot when we have young kids, right? There's a lot of this intentionality about being present with your children. Because obviously, they need that interaction to learn how to be people. And, to feel safe and engaged with the world and heard and, all the things. Well, it never stops. This is a strange thing to me. They don't get to an age, and we don't get to an age where we stop needing to have these kind of building interactions with one another. It can feel like a lot. There are plenty of times in my life where the thought of even having to text somebody feels like too much, let alone check in with somebody. But, when it's the younger kids, I don't know about you, but I feel very, what's the word? It's not like I owe anything, but I feel very bound to the idea that it is my job as, a mother, I guess. I'm in that mother zone, to make sure that people are doing okay in my life, to at least say, hey, how was your day? Good job in that match, or, things like this. It doesn't always, I don't always have the energy for it, but it's kind of our jobs. And, I have to say, and I know I'm on my little soapbox here, I have to say, we are seeing in our culture, our collective, what is happening with our breakdown of communication and close personal relationships. You are seeing it. There are a lot of people probably in your life, and I'm not trying to point anybody out, but I know this, I understand this personally at times. There are probably a lot of people in your life who look like they have all the friends and They have the network. They have the safety net. They have, they have a whole family that's there for them. And they have, best friends and a friends group. And, and maybe some of that, maybe none of that. Or a little of that, or whatever. There might be people in your life that you look at them, you see all this, you say, they're fine, they have it made, they're doing all the things, right? And the reality is, they never have a real conversation with somebody. Not one that feels like growth. They don't have friendships or relationships in their life where they can be themselves. Where they can just, unmask or, say the things that they need to say. If it makes sense or not. You know what I mean? Like, just to have a close enough person in your life that you can say the wildest, unhinged, like, out-of-pocket stuff. Of course, within reason or whatever. But they're not going to judge you because they know you just need a space to like say the thing and let it go. Let it purge, into the aether, right? Most people, I wouldn't say most people, I would say some people, a good amount of people don't have this in their lives. Period. They might seem like they do, but they don't. So it is our job to get out here and talk to each other. It is our job to be out here talking to each other. And I don't care if you're like hanging out at work, if you're at a parent's or, kid's activity. This is my part of my life right now. I have a kid that's in a lot of stuff. And you're standing around at these parents saying, or, you're with parents watching the kids do their thing. And, not everybody wants to talk all the time, right? We're tired. But yeah. This is a place to, have these little conversations, connect with somebody for a minute. You might find somebody that you find interesting, or vice versa. Wherever you're at, you go to the gym, you are a regular at the library, or I don't know what do people do? You can tell I'm like super in my kid era. In the mom child era. But I heard this. I know I'm rambly. I'm going to be rambly forever. We're Virgos. We like to chit chat. I heard the wildest thing, and it's a generalization. Okay. But I guess stereotypically, Jin, what is the youngest one now? Not Alpha. They're real young. The one above them, Gen Z or whatever. They don't dance. They don't go to club. Like when they go to clubs, they don't dance. They just like stand. I don't know what that means really. I grew up in the mid late 90s and into the thousands. I went to raves and stuff, We danced and underground parties. They weren't like festivals back then. We called them, what were they called? Massives. That like once in a while they'd have one in like San Francisco or something. But, I was going to like little creepy clubs and stuff and going to these raves and, in weird like places. Like once there was one that was in a like old what was it, a VFW or something. It was like one of those halls or what. It was a weird place to have a party. It was like in, I think, Galt or something. But anyways, they don't dance. I don't know what that means. I hear these things. I'm sure some people dance, right? But like, I guess collectively, it's not really, that terrifies me. I don't know why, but it does. When people stop dancing, like, we need to get together and start working on like shifting these energies, you guys. So this is all to say, right? We need to be there for the younger people. And I think that is such a huge thing that, we spend a lot of time supporting our families and keeping our families going. And, obviously, like, that is so much. And it feels like at the end of a lot of days, like, that should be enough, right? But so much of it is about the connectedness, and unfortunately, the way that the world is set up and the way that we engage with it, at least here in the Western world and in America in particular, we don't really get a big choice of like, am I going to make money today, or am I going to spend time with my, a good solid amount of time engaging with my kid uninterrupted? I don't know. I gotta just do a rant thing. You guys, I could go on and on. Oh my goodness. So I see you really like re-engaging. Okay. Really making this a priority. Not just with this one person in your life, although this person in particular needs to be held by you, or a space held by you for them. Okay. I think that they really need a good listening. They need you to listen. There we go. All right. Now we're going to keep moving around. We have what looks like a lamb. Okay. So we have the lamb. Here's the head. Here's the front leg, kind of the body over here. Now within we have, it looks like a person right here. Okay. And then we have what looks like some kind of lighthouse. Okay. Like a beacon. We also have a crescent moon. And we have it looks like a house. It's a house, but it feels like it's in process, right? Like either being built or something being rebuilt, something being fixed. It's not like you're adding on to the house or anything like that. It's like something happened. Maybe there's like like a roof damage or, something. This feels like it is something you have been stressing about a lot. It feels very clear to me that the ability to get this fixed is going to be there. It's going to be a blessing that you just did not expect to happen. Okay. And it'll be quick. Here's the thing is, this isn't going to let you like sit in the anxiety of it, but this is like the closing shedding of, we're at the end of the year of the snake, right? We're going into the fire horse, and there is this feeling of, it's like the last of the blockages. They are manifesting in our lives in these like little moments of like, oh my gosh, I just realized there's like, I don't even want to say it because I don't want it to come into any kind of manifestation, but like, not a huge problem in the house, but something that's like, yeah, we got to do that. We got to fix that one, because it'll get bad. So that kind of feeling, which we all know that feeling, if you rent or if you own, it does not matter. We all know the feeling of like, oh, come on, really? And this feels like it's like one of those last little ordeals, right? The last little like, oh, here we go with the trickster energy, right before you fully shed that skin. Okay. And we let go of the last 12 months of just absolute WTF, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. What is going on, right? We come to center. So that looks like it's going to work out. It looks like it's pretty dang good. Now, I feel like this is really, It looks like it's set left. Left. L-E-F-T, left. Okay. It feels like, Virgo, and stick with me, please don't get offended, I am also a Virgo. Remember that when I say this. It feels like you are coming into a place where you are being very honest. You are being honest. You are not trying to smooth it over, candy coat it, doing the psychological gymnastics, ninja warrior stuff that we can do. Listen, keep with me. We know how to freak the system, okay? Let's just say that. I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm not saying that you're hiding anything or you're finessing anybody. Okay. That wouldn't be a Virgo ever, right? Here's the deal. We hit that wall, baby, and we said, you're going to have to see who I really am right now because, babe, I'm not going to mince words. If you mess me up, have me feeling any kind of way that is not conducive with the work, the sacred work, the powerful work, the, rising, evolving work that you are doing, that I am doing, then you have to kick rocks, my friend. Get out of here because we're done. This is it, man. If you don't want to hear what it is, if you don't want to be around for what it is, bye. It's just cut and dry. We are in one of those cut and dry modes, you guys. And when a Virgo can get like this, now we're not being mean. We're not going out there looking for trouble within our relationships. We're not like, running the inventory of the last 20 years or something like that. Not in our private lives. Okay, now out there in the world where everything is happening, okay, we're going to take them to task, in fact. But the truth is here, you are just unfiltered at this point. It is raw. Baby, we're feeling people. We feel it all. We feel it all. Now, I'm married to a Cancer, right? You guys know him. His name is Paul. He's over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. And he is a very feeling person, but he is a Cancer, okay? And that's not to say that they're not intuitive or empathic or anything like that. Of course they are. But they have a good ability to decompartmentalize some of these things. Us Virgos, not at all. Not very much at all. We might try. And we might actually make you think that we, got it. But not always, right? We feel big. And, we have obviously been talking ad nauseum about everything that's going on all the levels, and the news and the, and he says, well, why does it feel so, obviously he knows why it feels so, but like for me personally, maybe you need a little step away from it. Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, it's like when you hear and literally hear the pain exuding from that monstrous thing that is just, they've trotted all this stuff out into the public stage, and I don't know what's going on. I don't trust anything. I don't know what's real or not real. It's like it's all real and all not real, and confusing and terrifying, and also we've known for many years. But it's like all those memes, like all the conspiracy people of your life who are just like not surprised. Obviously, we've been watching this unfold through different huge institutes for the last 20 some years, right? Of course it would continue, whatever. But you don't want to be right. Bro, I want to be wrong. Like, prove me wrong every dang day. I would be happy to be wrong. But you feel it. And it's hard not to internalize it. And that's the big work of us Virgos. Our life's work is partially in learning how to channel energy in ways that don't completely put us into a free fall, right? Or a dissolution, a real being in a disillusioned like state of living, being cynical. I mean, we all know a Virgo or two that has gone just totally like none of just absolutely Eeyore. Like we have big Eeyore energy sometimes, right? But man, we feel it all, and you get to a point where you're just fried from it, right? But you can't not look, because we're Virgos. And it's not even looking, it's just like, I know that that's there. I can't pretend it's not. Now, I know some other, signs or people are oriented in such a way where they can rechannel and refocus and, whatever. And that's a powerful ability. And I respect that. But like, man, I'm a Virgo. I can't not feel this thing. I'm not even going to try to fight it. But rechanneling those energies, that's where my work is at. I believe it's where your work is at. I really do. So, we can talk more about what we should be doing to sublimate some of this energy, and that for us Virgos, it's creating. Somebody with an E name, they are on your mind. It feels like, through all of this, though, you do have deep love. I feel like it's a sense of being frightened. We have the number 702 up here. 702. And I see somebody in a devotional, arms lifted to the sky. So I feel like you're feeling all the things, right? You're frightened. It feels like unstable, crazy stuff happening. But at the same time, like, you're thriving, you're doing well. You're getting your stuff together. You're, making it happen. Still, paying the bills, like taking care of what you need to do. Of course you are. You're Virgo. But, there's that thing. It's that, like, you can't ignore it. You're feeling all of these, like, big shifts in reality that are happening. And, it's, you can't pretend to not notice that. Now, you also have somebody in your personal life, in your family, who is also having some problems, or, well, I'm not saying you have problems, but I'm saying having some issues with the way that they're experiencing life, okay? And so I think that, all of this seems on point to me as far as a Virgo goes. There's not the big freak out, but there are these waves of emotion, intense emotions. We also have the letters JR, okay? JR. We have a person holding, it looks like, let's see if we can lift this. you can see right here, the head is up here. Here's the arm up. Here is like the robe or the dress. Behind it looks like a staff to me. We also have the home over here. So I feel like, and this also reads into that, was it? The beacon, the lighthouse that we talked about. There is a feeling of being pulled into a place away from home, or what feels like home. Some degree of going out in the world for maybe a little bit more time than you usually do. I don't think that you're like leaving home or anything, but I do feel like there will be reasons for you to be out of the house more. And maybe that's the changing of seasons coming up, because I feel like, you know, there's a sense of being kind of like I've been homebound a little bit more than I want to be, and ready to get out in the world, not necessarily to be socializing, but projects. And that's the big thing I'm feeling, is projects and building something, getting something going. Okay. And that's how we really kind of deal with a lot of our feeling stuck type feelings as Virgos, or feeling aimless or directionless, or, you know, not knowing what to do next. We get busy with stuff, right? When I feel like my life is falling apart, which, you know, I have a lot of anxiety issues. So it's pretty often, I guess. I go and learn something. I don't care if it is like I'm learning, you know, like one Sanskrit word, or, you know, I'm reading a whole book, or I'm, you know, watching a YouTube video and learning how to do something practical, or, you know, whatever it is. Empowering yourself with knowledge, skills, understanding, having like a more and more fluid understanding of like practical applications of stuff when you're in the thing, doing the thing, understanding how to pivot within that because you've done enough, you know, practice or studying or whatever to be able to really like get through that thing and, you know, begin to, it doesn't have to be mastering it, but begin to know how to do something, right? My example is always learning how to make a fire, right? There are a lot of people that could maybe start a little fire, but how many people can keep it going? How many people could keep a fire going for like 2 days straight? Number 14 is our first lucky number. 2 days straight of keeping a fire together. Now, it doesn't have to be burning, you know, hot all the time, but keeping the coals alive and all of that overnight. 62. Not a lot of people, right? Unless you're willing to, you know, maybe you go camping or whatever. But, you know, just being able to devote the time, you know, who has the time really, but 20. But at the same time, the world is insane. Nothing makes sense. Everything is made up. So why not learn some things like keeping a fire going for 2 days straight, right? Why not? So anyways, yeah, I think that's the big thing, Virgo, is that we just like empowering ourselves with the know-how, being able to do things like without having to talk to anybody else, right? Doesn't that make you feel like the baddest of the baddies when it's like, I just did like 5 chores, 2 projects, I didn't have to talk to anybody or ask anybody anything. Like, dude, to me, that is like the ultimate win day. I feel amazing. Maybe I'm a little silly for that, but I'm a Virgo, right? So anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for listening to me ramble and, you know, probably be a little overly opinionated. But I hope some of the messages reach you well. I gotta take a drink of water. My my whole thing. I feel like my throat is kind of itchy, and that scares me so much, you guys. Like, no, I'm not getting sick again. Yeah. Anyways, I love you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.